بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا وعملا متقبلا ورزقا طيبا ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الحمد لله رب العالمين. So inshallah ta'ala, we are going to look at what we're supposed, what is Ramadan and how we should be using the time given to us in the month of Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that He revealed the Quran in Ramadan. So basically, Ramadan is a very important month for us. And these months have always been there, even before Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, even before Islam. These months were there, and some form of fasting was also there. But this whole fasting, the whole month of Ramadan, it became fard or obligatory in around the second year of migration of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from Makkah to Medina. And that's when it became like, and we're going to see inshallah ta'ala what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about it. This is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. And the word Ramadan, basically it has its roots in the Arabic words Ramida or Ramada, or you can say Ramda. Basically what it means is intense heat and dryness. Or Ramda meaning sun-baked sand, meaning it's really, really hot. And we all know that in like the Saudi Arabia or in the Arab world, like it gets really hot. And then it is a desert. Most of the area is covered with sand and then sand dunes, and it's really, really hot. So basically, what the scholars, they explain it in this way, that because the word has its roots in Ramada, or Ramida, whatever these three words are, indicating intense heat. How it relates to us is that when somebody is fasting, the stomach, due to the thirst, due to the hunger, it feels as if it's on fire. And also they explain that basically when you fast in the month of Ramadan, it burns and it takes away your sins of the past year or the previous sins, according to hadith. So this something to think about, like both these meanings should be in our minds, like what it says, like the stomach on fire because of no food or water, and then our sins being burned. Sometimes, or most of the time, I would say, we focus more on the food aspect of Ramadan than the sin burning aspect. We're going to see that inshallah ta'ala. This year, what I've been planning and I've been trying to do is focus more on the other aspect of Ramadan. So Ramadan is called the month of Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah. So fasting in the month of Ramadan is only mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, 3 ayahs. So in ayah number 185, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm just reading this translation. The month of Ramadan is that in which was revealed the Quran, a guidance for the people, and clear proofs of guidance and criterion. So whoever sights the new moon of the month, let him fast it. And whoever is ill or on a journey, then an equal number of other days. Allah intends for you ease and does not intend for you hardship, and wants for you to complete the period and to glorify Allah for that, to which He has guided you. And perhaps you will be grateful. So basically, the month of Ramadan has been called the month of the Quran. Why? Because Quran started coming down. Just give me a second. I needed water. Just give me a second. Okay, so the Quran started coming down in the month of Ramadan, and so that is like for us, I think that should be the most important aspect of Ramadan because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this month for the Quran. And as I said before, like our focus should be on, because as he said here, it's for guidance and criterion. Criterion means the words used in the Quran is something that differentiates between right and wrong. That's basically what Quran is. It tells you what is wrong, and if you do the wrong, what is going to happen, and if what's right, and if you do the right, what's going to happen then. It is guidance. But and also in the Quran, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's guidance for whom? It's guidance for people who are God fearing. The word used in the Quran is taqwa, muttaqun, yattaqun, or different forms of this word. Taqwa means having fear of Allah. That's the basic definition of taqwa. So if you look at the Arabic of this ayah also, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the previous ayah as well, that fasting has been made obligatory upon you, just like it was obligatory on previous nations. And the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives for that in the ayah is that so that you become God fearing. Main purpose, main purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us for Ramadan is so that we become muttaqi. Muttaqi is a person. So I'll give you an example. Muttaqi is somebody who, you know, just I might have given this example before, but this is such a good example for to explain taqwa, is that like you are going on a very narrow path, and both sides of the path have has shrubs, you can say, or small plants that have thorns in them, and you're walking and you're wearing maybe a dress or something, and you're holding your dress like tightly because you don't want it to get stuck in those thorns. So the scholars say this is what taqwa is, that you live in this dunya trying to prevent going in the wrong direction, trying to prevent committing sins, trying to prevent being attracted to something that is wrong. This is how a muttaqi person looks like. That's what fear of Allah means. Even when you are alone in your room and nobody can see you, you still have that taqwa. You still don't do anything that you know displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we are fasting, even if we are alone at home, we won't eat, even though nobody's looking at us. Because we still, at least at the bare minimum, we still have that much taqwa of Allah that we don't eat because I'm fasting, even though nobody can see me. So that is the taqwa we need to build upon. In this month, we need to increase that taqwa. Of course, none of us is like without taqwa in our heart. None of us is like is at zero taqwa. No, we do fear Allah. We do stop ourselves from doing so many things because we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me all the time. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that fasting has been made obligatory upon you so that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you become God fearing. Then you and we need to make that as our purpose for fasting. Our purpose usually, the focus is not eating and drinking. And that's the main focus. And then what are we going to eat for suhoor? What are we going to eat for iftar? That's the main focus for us. But this year we are going to make it different. We are going to focus more on building ourselves as a human being, working upon, and as we move in proper, we will see inshallah further. So there are some hadiths about Ramadan by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the month of Ramadan starts, the gates of the heaven are opened and the gates of hellfire or hell are closed and the devils are chained. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Heaven, the doors of heaven are open. Who is going to get ask for forgiveness? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to forgive them. And when we are told that devil, shaitan, is chained, then that means it becomes easier for us to do good. And you will all of us feel that in Ramadan, it's easier to do good. It's easier to pray, it's easier to control ourselves, it's easier to do so many things that normally we find hard to do. Another hadith, whoever fasts during Ramadan out of sincere faith and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, then all his past sins will be forgiven. Just imagine, every year we get this chance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like He gives us this chance, okay, you mess up, you did these mistakes, I ask for forgiveness, fast in the month of Ramadan, and your previous sins will be forgiven. And just imagine how unlucky we might be or we will be, and how sad it is that after getting the month of Ramadan and fasting, and we have still not been forgiven because we didn't pay attention to what we were doing in Ramadan. So this is the ayah I was talking about, this in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 2. This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah. The Quran. The Quran is the book. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. That's the second ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. So what is the purpose of the Quran? It is a book of guidance. And if we have guidance from this book, that will enable us to become God conscious, to become muttaqi. So the purpose is to attain taqwa. And the more we connect ourselves with the Quran, the more taqwa we will find, like in ourselves. Because we will, like this is basically you can say a mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you read the Quran, let's say you read the Quran without knowing the meanings. You don't know what you're reading, you're just reading the Arabic. Even that has an effect on our hearts. Then just imagine if we understand what we are saying, how much effect is that going to make on our heart? So that's why it's very important that this Ramadan, we focus on the Quran, trying to understand. And even if we are able to do even one surah in the whole month, that is way better than not doing anything. The Quran has some rights on us. So the first right is to believe in it. And alhamdulillah, we all believe in the Quran. It is the book of Allah. There's no doubt in it. There's nothing wrong in it. It's everything that is written in it and said in it. It's all true. That's the first belief that we have to have. Second is recite it. The right of Quran, the second right is to recite it. We need to make a habit of reciting Quran daily. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves a person who does something for the sake of Allah consistently, regularly. It's not about the quantity, it's the quality. Basically, what it means is some people, they will read, like in one sitting, they will read one whole juz of the Quran, but the rest of the whole week, they are not doing anything. As compared to somebody who is only reading half a page of Quran, but they're doing it every day. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that person more who's doing it every day, whether it's just half a page. So sometimes we feel that I have to do this much. If I'm not doing that, I'm not doing anything. This is also a psychology. I don't know, like if you've experienced that or not. I have experienced it. Like I give myself a big goal, and if I'm not able to do that, then I don't even do something less than that. I just don't do it altogether. Sometimes I'm working on that habit too, but this is human nature. So try to be consistent, even if it's one ayah every day. It's way better than doing something on Saturday and not do anything till next Saturday. Then number 3 is understand it. After believing in it, after reciting it, after learning how to recite it, the third thing is to understand it. What am I saying? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to me? What does it mean for me? Like if I don't understand what the Quran is saying, what benefit will I get from it? I don't know. Just like for me, I don't know French. So if I'm reading a French book or with my own pronunciation, with my own thing, and I don't even know what it means, I will not be able to enjoy. So Quran is not there for enjoyment. Quran is basically a way of life. It tells us how to live. If I don't understand what it says, what's the benefit? Yeah, we get ajr for reading it, but that's about it. Our life will not change. Number 4 is applying it. Once we understand what it says, then we can apply Okay, it says, yeah, I have to pray 5 times. I have to behave a certain way. I have to do I have to respect my parents. I have to do this. If I don't know, I won't do it. But if I know it, at least I will try to do it. So after believing, after recitation, after understanding, then comes the application. And the last thing is to spread the message. When I am learning what the Quran says, why wouldn't I want my family, my kids, my husband, my parents, my siblings, why wouldn't I want them to feel that, like, and taste the fruit? Like, it's a different feeling altogether when you understand what you're saying, and then you are like telling that to the other person, or you're teaching somebody. It's a different feeling. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said in a hadith that people, the best people among you are the people who learn the Quran and teach it. Because you know why? Like, when you're teaching it, basically that's when it is really making sense to you yourself as well. Because what you're saying, it has to be applied first by you. So it is a reminder when somebody's teaching, it's a reminder for them. So fasting leads to taqwa. And like, as I said, this ayah, already explained this ayah, that basically fasting leads to taqwa. How? It on a very minute level, I can say fasting, because we're not eating since Fajr till Maghrib, we have taqwa and we feel for other people and we are stopping ourselves from eating. And this is one kind of taqwa. And this is only focused on eating, like related to food. But this, as I said before, like this Ramadan, the question that we are going to ask ourselves, and the focus that we will be giving ourselves is to nurture our body or our soul. Body, we usually do. We make sure we have something for suhoor and something that can last us a long time. And then for iftar, we enjoy all those foods. And it is a blessing of Allah. It is a ni'mah of Allah. There's nothing wrong in enjoying. But that is not the only purpose. That is what we are going to tell ourselves this year. This is not the only purpose. So just we as human beings, we are created of, like, we're made up of two things. One is our physical body, and the other is our soul. So in Ramadan, we need to feed both. Usually we focus more on the physical body, what to eat, when to sleep, how much to sleep, what to drink, and like whether we have groceries or not. And some people, they start preparing for Ramadan way before it. Freezer is full of frozen kebabs and rolls and samosas and whatnots. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't take me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing. It'll save you time. But have we prepared for our soul before Ramadan begins? Have we started cutting down on things that take us away from the deen? So soul, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blew his soul in us. The soul came from above, the food will come from above. And the food for the soul is the Quran, it is the salah, it is the zikr, it is the dua. This is all the food for the soul. Never think that when you're reading the Quran or you're making dua, yeah, it's just a ritual that I'm doing. No, you are at that time feeding your soul. Just as we are so much worried about our kids, we want to feed them when they're younger. It has to be on time. Milk has to be on time. The solids are on the time. The fruit, that's all good. But then this is how we look after our soul when we are doing dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are praying salah, when we are reading the Quran, when we are making dua. This is all we are giving food to our soul, which is as important as and I personally, maybe because I'm older than you, so I am at a point where I can see food for the soul is way more important than food for the physical body. We will survive. Like, of course, we can eat whatever, whether we eat healthy or not eating. Of course, we should be eating healthy. But if we don't, we still will survive. But if the soul doesn't get its food, a time comes when the soul just dies. We are still alive with the soul in, when they say that, like, there's no soul, like it's done, because nothing affects you then. In reality, when somebody dies, when the soul leaves the body, we don't even call that person by name. We just say that the body is there, the dead body. Like we won't say, whatever, Faryal is lying there, or I don't know, any name. We don't take their name. The moment the soul leaves the body, we just call it a body. So that should tell us that if I need to be alive, I need to feed my soul. Because once the soul dies, it's very hard to revive it again. Sometimes it's not even possible. So the goals for Ramadan, and this is, everyone will have their own sets of goals. I have some, like, I will give you some ideas, and everyone will like mold the goals according to their situation or their requirement or whatever they're able to do. It's all, everyone will have a different set of goals. So worship related. So worship related goals could be related to your salah, that I will pray my salah within 15 minutes of the time. So if it's the Zohar time, let's say at 12:30, between 12:30 to quarter to 1, I will pray my salah. I'm going to try and pray on time. That can be one of the goals. That, or I can, another goal can be, I will read half a page of Quran, or 1 page of Quran, or one, just whatever the target may be. Just give yourself attainable targets so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Give yourself that this is my minimum. If I can do more, I will do more. But this is the minimum I have to do. Then maybe you can go to the masjid sometimes and pray Taraweeh there, or you can just sit there and do dhikr of Allah there. Anything that is a form of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can do it, and we can make a schedule for ourselves so that we are able to do it throughout Ramadan. Sometimes what we do is, we are so energetic in the beginning of Ramadan, and as days are passing, we become more tired and we lose our energies, and then we're just trying to just keep up with the fasting. Just distribute and divide what you want to do so that you have the energy till the end. And then service related meaning helping somebody out, doing volunteering at the masjid, volunteering at a food bank, somebody you know that they are like in financially they're going through hardships. Maybe you can give iftar to them, or any kind of other help. Helping somebody in Ramadan. And remember one thing, even like everything that you do, the reward is multiplied so many times more in Ramadan than in other times of the year. So even if you do something that was an obligation, that's further upon you, but if you're doing in Ramadan, you get even more ajr for that. And something voluntary you're doing, you get more ajr in Ramadan. So that's why we try to do as much good in Ramadan as much possible. Try to give sadaqah frequently in Ramadan. It will get you more rewards. And then screen related goals you can give. Okay, I will cut down on one of my social media. I will not go on that social media. If you can cut all of them out, well and good. But at least give yourself, okay, one thing. I will not go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, Twitter, whatever other social media platforms are there. TV, I will cut down on watching TV, or altogether, or if not altogether, at least I will, like, especially at iftar time, at suhoor time, I will not be on my device or on watching TV. I will use that time to do dhikr or make dua and or read Quran, whatever it is. So everyone will have their own goals for that. And then character building, character related goals will be, maybe you can make, we can make a list of things that we want, habits that we have that I want to get rid of, or habits that I don't have and I want to get those habits. I want to build upon those habits. It can be a list. For example, again, maybe I get angry easily. So I will, okay, try to control my anger. Or I have a habit of delaying my salah. No, I'm going to pray on time. Or I don't keep promises. I will keep promises. Or I don't stay connected with my family. I will start. So anything that you feel that you're lacking and I'm lacking, we need to have that in mind, and we need to work on it during Ramadan. This is like it's a great time because in Ramadan we like it's just a totally different environment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it so much easy to do good and during Ramadan. So these can be our goals. In short, the purpose of fasting in Ramadan is to attain taqwa. This purpose has to be taqwa. Attaining taqwa will lead to building a stronger relationship with Allah. The more taqwa we have, the stronger our relationship is with Allah. And always remember, taqwa, like there is not going to be a day when you will say that I have complete taqwa now and I'm done with it. Now I'm done. I'm the most muttaqi person on earth. It is not going to happen. Taqwa itself means consistently being conscious of Allah. And this will continue till the day I die. So this is never going to be like it's an ongoing effort to attain taqwa. It's an ongoing effort. So never feel that, okay, now I can sit back and relax because I've done so many things and now I have achieved this level of taqwa. No, taqwa, and the easiest, like the most important thing for achieving taqwa is to make dua consistently and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us attain taqwa so that he can, like we can, without his help, just remember, without his help, nothing is possible. And when we make those dua, there are so many duas that we can recite that will help us in achieving taqwa. And just give me a second. Maybe there was this one dua that I had. So just let me see if I can find it. And it is a very beautiful dua, but I sometimes mix up the words, so that's why I'm just trying to find it so I can read it to you. Yeah, so Allahumma inni as'aluka al-huda wat-tuqa wal-afafa wal-ghina. O Allah, I beseech you for guidance, piety, chastity, and contentment. I will share this dua with you on WhatsApp group. So this is one dua that, like, there's so many other duas which and then there's another one, very beautiful dua. Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayru man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa maulaha. Let me just read the translation. O Allah, grant piety to my soul. And no, it's just it's not that clear for me. Just give me a second. This one. I'm going to. O Allah, grant my soul its piety and purify it as you are the best to purify it. You are its guardian and protecting friend. So these two, like basically we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us taqwa, to help us in achieving taqwa. So this is going to be a continuous dua in Ramadan. So another dua that we find from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, I'm going to share it in the group as well. Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni yafa'fu anna. Both are correct. Like basically the meaning is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are the most forgiving, you like to forgive, so please forgive me. And afu is the kind of forgiveness that just as an example, I tell you. So for example, you write something on a piece of paper and like it's with pencil, you know how with pencil, it's easier to erase. When you erase it, it just as if there was nothing written on it. So this is what afu is, that we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to erase our mistake from our book, that it's not even there. There's no sign of it anymore. So that's what afu is, and I'm going to share those duas with you. Now, the other aspect of fasting, I have a PowerPoint for that too. Basically, what breaks your fast or what you need to do. I'm just going to share that too as well. Just give me a second. Let me, and in the meantime, if you have any question, please go ahead and ask away. So this, okay, let me just share this first. So we need to remind ourselves this that fasting is not starvation. Basically, we are required to control our tongues, our thoughts, our eyes, and our actions. And we are like our main purpose is to please Allah. So how are we going to control our tongues? By not using foul language or being mean to somebody or controlling our thoughts. Some bad thoughts, any kind of thoughts can come to our mind anytime. Once like we feel okay, this is a bad thought, we need to clear our minds of it. And our eyes should be watching only those things that are halal or that are approved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a month of controlling not only what we eat and when to eat and not to eat, everything else that is like which we usually ignore or we forget. So and then the things, the actions that invalidate fasting, eating and drinking, we all know eating and drinking. And but if by mistake somebody eats or drinks like they didn't realize it that they were fasting, it doesn't break your fast. It's okay. Even if you realize, okay, oh, I ate something, and but if you did it unknowingly, it doesn't break the fast. And IV to replace food. Sometimes some people can get sick, and then they have those IV lines going, taking food in. That breaks the fast. Vomiting intentionally, meaning like sometimes you're not feeling well, and you will feel better if you vomit. That vomit will break your fast. Cupping, which is called hijama as well. There are two opinions. Some scholars say it is okay, it doesn't break your fast. Some scholars say it does break your fast. So, wallahu alam, but it's better to avoid it while you're fasting. Intercourse, we all know that while fasting, it is not allowed, but once you open your fast and before suhoor, it is permissible. And then when you have your periods or postnatal bleeding, you're not supposed to fast. There's no fast. And also remember, let's say you were fasting the whole day, and 5 minutes before Maghrib, you got your periods. So that still breaks your fast, and that fast is now invalid. Now you have to make up that fast. When I was growing up, I was told, okay, if you get your period after midday, like after 12 o'clock, then it counts. But before 12 o'clock, it doesn't count. No, that's no such thing. Even if you get it, as I said, even 2 minutes before Maghrib, you got your periods, then that fast is invalidated. Like now you have to make up that fast. It's not valid anymore. And then suhoor and opening the fast. So Rasulullah Sallallahu said that take the suhoor meal, for there is blessing in it. You don't have to eat too much if you don't feel like eating it, but waking up for suhoor and having something, maybe dates or maybe milk or yogurt, whatever, it's a sunnah as well, and there's blessings in it. And opening the fast, the time when you're opening your fast, that's the time of dua as well. Making dua while sitting on the table, and um, um, opening the fast urgently, meaning when it's Maghrib time, don't spend time doing something. Oh, let me just quickly finish this, or let me first pray. No, open your fast first, because that's what Rasulullah Sallallahu told us. He also said the people will continue to be in good condition as long as they hasten to break the fast. Meaning, do not delay it without any reason, without any purpose. You're not supposed to delay it. Uh, next, I think. So these are the two du'as. So make an intention of fasting the whole month on like day one. So then the first suhoor that you're doing, make an intention that you're going to fast the whole month. Then you don't have to do the niyyah every time. Just remember that one niyyah for the whole month is enough, but you have to have that niyyah. And then if you get your periods in between, that means that you're not fasting. After the periods, when you start fasting again, that make that niyat again. And this is the dua to open the fast. So try to memorize it. It's a sunnah to read this dua and opening your fast. Then in Ramadan, the last 10 nights, especially the odd nights, one of those nights is Laylatul Qadr, the night of Qadr, meaning where like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called it as better than 1,000 months. We all know Surah Al-Qadr, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. Now this is in Urdu because I made this for people who prefer Urdu. So Laylatul Qadr, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. Alfi shahr means 1,000 nights. Tanazzalul malaikatu warruhu. So the angels come down with the amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like coming down, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends them with his message, with his orders. And this is it's a peaceful night till the morning. So basically, what we have started doing, like I've started doing, is that the last 10 nights, I try to stay awake longer. I try to do Qiyamul Layl. And Qiyamul Layl, like it basically, the night starts after Maghrib. So that's when we should start doing our tasbih or salah, or of course Taraweeh we do after Isha. Taraweeh also you can do if you're praying at home. You can do it after midnight, or you can delay it as much, or you can do it with Isha. It's all. And remember, Taraweeh is not fard. It is a voluntary prayer. You can pray some of them. You don't have to pray all of them. It's all like there's no sin in it that if you don't pray. Yeah, of course. But this month we want to earn Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's uh, rewards. That's why we want to do it more. Um, so it's better not to, like, in order not to miss the Laylatul Qadr, the last 10 nights, try to stay awake, try to do more ibadah than the regular days. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. And I know you, all of you, most of you have young kids. It becomes harder. Like when my kids were younger, fasting was harder because the kids are active and you have to be running around with them. And then people who are working, that's another added thing. Just always remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows your struggles. So do as much as you are capable of. Don't push yourself to a limit or over the limit so that you become sick, or you're not able to fast because you're sick, or you're becoming groggy, like you're really edgy and you are like shouting on your kids, or you're not in a good mood the whole day. Don't do that. Give yourself time, sleep. And in Ramadan, when you sleep, thinking, because so that you get that sleep and then you can stay awake at night. While you're sleeping, ajr is being written down for you because you're sleeping with an intention that so that you can pray and you can do dhikr, you can stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even that sleep is getting you rewarded. So give yourself space, give yourself time, be nice to yourself, basically, in Ramadan. And as I said, make sure that you're reading the Quran daily, at whatever number of pages or ayahs you are easily able to read. Pick a time when it's convenient for you, the kids are sleeping, or whatever it is that you find it easier to read. Just try to read Quran at that time. Zikr you can do even walking or cooking or working or whatever. Just do a lot of istighfar, lot of tasbih, and like these are all things that will inshallah ta'ala make our heart softer. Try to stay connected with the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. And yeah, so may Allah make it easy for us to attain taqwa, inshallah ta'ala, and make the best of this Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So if anyone has any question or you want to add anything, please go ahead.
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So I was actually curious. I wanted to kind of hear what everyone's routine was or has been in previous years. Like inshallah, I plan on this year um praying hopefully tahajjud as well in the morning.
Mhm.
Um I was thinking like, waking up, showering, like getting ready for the day kind of thing that early in the morning, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be like stretching it like that and maybe I'll burn out eventually. But I was wondering if anyone did something like that in previous years where they kind of started the day um that early in the morning, or how you guys did your routines.
For tahajjud, let me just tell you something that if you want to pray tahajjud, it's very easy during Ramadan, especially. Just even if you can wake up 20 minutes before Fajr, you can pray your tahajjud at that time.
So I'm
So,
thinking, obviously, during like before Fajr, obviously
yeah,
we suhoor, right? So we'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
eating all that stuff. So I was thinking, would it be more ideal to pray Tahajjud first, then
yeah,
suhoor, and then Fajr? I'm not sure.
yes. What I usually do, because I am the one cooking for everyone at home. So let's say for example, I don't know what time it will be for Fajr, when it'll be around 5:45 or something. I don't know. So let's say I wake up an hour before. So the first thing I do is pray my tahajjud, and then I cook, and then we eat, and that's what it is. If it's a weekend, then sometimes we will not sleep throughout the night, and then I will like just do the qiyam, and then after Fajr we will sleep. So it basically depends on everyone, like what they find convenient. And those of you who are working, definitely they want to sleep as well. So that's just my opinion. So let's see what others say. Does anyone want to chip in? You can unmute and say.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I hope you guys are all
Walaikum assalam.
well. I'm sorry that I think I missed like two classes in the past. I wasn't in town, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to kind of be back and join you all. Um, Nabiha, that's a good question. I was actually like curious to know how everybody does it as well. But last year, my day would kind of just start once I would like have, eat my sahur, pray fajr. But I noticed like my body did seem to kind of crash around noontime. So I would try to squeeze in like a little bit of a nap. And inshallah, this year I also plan to, be able to pray a little bit more. I also want to be able to go for Taraweeh, but I just feel like it's so hard, like with kids. So I wonder what everybody else does because, kids have a bedtime. It's hard to take the kids. And then it's also hard to leave your house because then you kind of need somebody to watch your kids. So I wonder what everybody else kind of does.
So, you can pray at home. You don't have to go to the masjid for Taraweeh.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, or like maybe if it's a weekend, and over the weekend, if the kids do have a later bedtime, then maybe you can take them. But
Mhm.
if you're not able to because your kids are younger, then you can pray at home.
I
Okay.
understand Hina because I'm like, obviously, when you pray Tarawih at home, it's a different feeling as opposed to going into the mosque. You actually feel like it's a different feeling, obviously, going into the mosque. Um, you
Yeah.
feel the blessings, right?
And I feel like it's kind of hard, like at home. It sounds so bad, but I would get carried away with other tasks and I would just, not really get around to praying. Like right after Isha, I'm just kind of like, lounging and kind of catching up with anything else that needs to be done. And then, like my sister-in-law, she used to kind of tell me like she would actually go pretty consistently. And I don't know how she would do it, but she would kind of, I think, get her mom or like brothers to come and watch the kids. And it was nice to kind of hear her experience because it kind of had like a friends group that was going and motivating each other to go. But I guess it's different for everybody and everyone's, family routine.
Hmm. Yeah, it is a different feeling, definitely. Like it's even if you're not praying Taraweeh, if you just at the masjid, like it just a different feeling, definitely. But again, I will also mention, because I go to the masjid during Ramadan. I try to be regular, but one thing that I really feel, because when my kids were younger, I would make sure either if I'm taking them, then I am looking after them, or I'm not letting them just run around here and there. And then sometimes people do bring their kids there, which is a good thing too, because the kids get to see. But then the thing that I find is a bit not that responsible is that when you, now the Taraweeh has started or Isha has started, you start praying, but then you leave your kid there, and the kids are now running in front of everyone, or they're shouting or playing, because kids will be kids. It's not their fault. So then I think it is the parents' responsibility. So if somebody like are bringing their kids there, then they have to make sure that the kids are taken care of. Um, Sometimes in the masjid they do offer, they do have somebody babysitting. If that's the case, that's really good. But if it's not, then yeah, maybe, uh, yeah, I don't know if you have somebody at home, they can look after the kids. That's better.
Yeah, or maybe even like designating like, a few days, like whatever days kind of
Yes.
work to
Yeah.
get into a masjid just so you can
Yep.
kind of feel that,
Yep. Yep.
the masjid's feeling. But
Mhm.
yeah, I find it, with the whole I think by the third day I get used to the caffeine withdrawal as well. But
Mhm.
like prior to that, like I feel like the first 3 days are challenging, and just sharing out there, actually somebody recommended to be using like the liquid IV during suhoor time because it has electrolytes which kind of help you retain the water, um whereas if you just kind of chug your water really quickly, you're going to be kind of passing it along, urinating throughout the day, which
Mm.
kind of defeats the purpose. So if you guys can get your hands on that, I think that I'm gonna be trying
Hannah,
to,
Hannah,
inshallah.
where do you get one of those from? What are they?
Costco. They're little
Is it
pouches.
just a drink?
It's a powder and you mix it in water.
Um,
Okay, okay.
It actually tastes really refreshing. It's like I'll give you some. If I see you, I'll give you a few. Try it out if you like it. Costco, even Amazon sells it. So wherever you
Okay,
can.
so you just mix the powder with water.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
And it
what
just
what
helps
is
you
it
retain.
called?
Liquid IV.
Liquid IB. Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Basically like an electrolyte based drink.
Yeah,
Um,
even if you don't have the drink, what I've learned a few, I think, weeks ago is that for you, if you want the water to be absorbed by your body,
mhm,
now you should take it with a little bit of salt. Salt will help the water like being absorbed in your body. It will stay there longer, or retain. You'll be able to retain it more.
I've
Yeah,
heard that too.
yeah.
Heard that one.
So yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's Gulruk here.
So,
From my perspective, I struggled with this a lot because with young kids in this season of life, Ramadan started to feel different. Like pre-kids, it was we could spend a lot of time on ibadah, going to the masjid, with kids, and I think your kids are all similar ages. It was like back to back, so it was nursing, waking up at night, and doing all of those things. One of my cousins who's also done some courses and stuff, some feedback that she told me is that like not to feel um, or not to feel upset that we're not doing everything that we can in this Ramadan because like raising children and doing that is like a form of ibadah too. And so all of those nights that we're up with them, or running around with them during the day while also fasting, like that is also a huge thing that we're doing. So small things that you can do, when you're up in the night with a child, maybe like reading some Quran on your phone, or I started like because I couldn't go to a lot of Taraweehs at the mosque, I started doing the ones where you can join like the live feed from Isna or any of the other mosques as well. So those are some things that we do here.
mm. And that is really that is true. Like you looking after your kids is, of course, it's an ibadah, because Allah Ta'ala knows. As I said before, like everyone will have different situations at home. And when kids are younger, of course, you need to look after them, and that is that is a job given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you need to do a good job there. So, and yeah, just do zikr, keep on, like whatever you're doing with them, just keep on doing zikr, or whatever time you have, just make your own schedule. Don't, and sometimes we start comparing ourselves with others, and that will make us feel bad. Okay, but just always remember, everyone will have a different situation. Not everyone will be able to do what somebody else is doing, and Allah knows that. So just make the best of whatever you are able to do.
That's a great reminder. I feel like we always, like I'm guilty of it too, just kind of like, feeling bad when
Yeah.
you see other people being able to, do more, focus more on their ibadah, and like, you're not quite there.
Yeah,
I think, we should just kind of do a little reminder to ourselves.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. So I think, okay, that's, if there's anything else anyone wants to add, otherwise we can just wrap it up, inshallah. And as I said before as well, so there will be no classes during Ramadan. We can, and we will be able to continue after Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. So let's see what you girls feel like. And as I was mentioning in the beginning of the class, from the 1st of Ramadan, I will be starting Dora Quran, but it will be in Urdu. So if anyone of you understands Urdu, you're free to feel free to join. It's on the same Zoom link from 4 o'clock to 5:30. We are planning on going through the whole Quran during the month of Ramadan. It will be the translation and a short tafsir of surahs, inshallah ta'ala. So, yeah, so that's about it, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah make it easy for everyone, and may Allah make this Ramadan a Ramadan where we are able to at least like try to achieve some level of taqwa with which is the purpose of fasting, inshallah ta'ala. And may Allah make just make it easy for everyone in whatever way they are able to worship, inshallah ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الحمد لله رب العالمين.